So I know some people are still going to join us. So we're going to record this call and make it available in our community for people that miss anything. So I will get started now. Just share my screen. All right. Welcome once again, everyone. I know we most of us saw this flyer, and that's why we are here today. We saw the title, we saw what is on it, and I know it will be beneficial for those that want to transition into tech, those that are already in tech, and people that just want to learn more, right? So these are an opportunity for everyone, both beginners and those that are already in the industry. So it's also an opportunity to network anyway, to just meet people, have discussions, because definitely from here, we want people to be part of our community. So this is transition to tech in 2025 and start earning in foreign currency. So we had to pick this topic because a lot of people want to transition into tech. They know, okay, there are some tech skills out there, but what do I need to do? Where do I need to get started? Okay, some are already in tech. How do I get remote jobs? We've been hearing people hailing in dollar, pounds, and other foreign currency. How do I also partake in all this? And that is why we actually brought this up, especially because we are entering into a new year, and it's also an opportunity to start something new, something different. So welcome once again. This is Soft Lift Technologies. For those that don't know us, we are Soft Lift Technology. We are a, let me just quickly show you our website. In case you want to learn more about us, it's softlift.com. You can find more details about us on our website. So we are into IT training. We are into IT consultation. We also have a tech hub here in Magboro. So our physical location is in Magboro, Ogun State. We have a workstation, so people that work remotely can actually work from our space. We found a need in our community and we felt we should actually meet that need. That's why we opened that up. We also have a media house. So we do IT training basically because we are a product company. We are a product company. We actually build software products. So we want to ensure that the people working on even the products that we are building are people that are working with the industry standard. That's why our training is actually important. So we don't just teach people because, oh, we feel like we should do trainings, but we teach people because, okay, we know what the industry wants, right? And we've been in the industry for a long time. So that is part of the reasons that we are doing trainings. Yeah, we also do consultations anyway. So for businesses, for individuals. So why we said businesses and individuals is because sometimes it's not everybody that wants to go into tech, but you have an idea, a fantastic idea of what you want to do, and you're looking for how to execute it. We can have a discussion with you. We can set a time, have a discussion, and talk about the idea. If it's something that we can automate, maybe automate in your workplace, something like that, we can help you with that. And that is why we actually also work with businesses and individuals. So professionals are also welcome, right? It's not everybody that wants to be like, oh, I want to code, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you have an idea you want to build. We also work with people to actually get that done. So I said I don't want to keep us here for too long, and we all know why we are here today. So we are going to get right into it. At the end of this, I'll still come back and talk more about what we do and how we can actually benefit those that are going to join us later, how they can actually benefit from it. So from here, I'm going to hand over to our first speaker. So we have two speakers today. We have Mr. Oyewole Samuel and we have Mr. Olumide Oduola. They are both senior engineers and they are going to be talking to us. Mr. Samuel Oyewole will be talking about freelancing in tech. Yes, he's a senior engineer and a digital creator. He's a Nigerian, but he's based in Canada. So over to you, Mr. Samuel. Sorry, you're on mute.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, so my name is Oyewole Samuel. So I will start by sharing my screen. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So screen two, screen one, share. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So yeah. So talking about freelancing, talking about IT is a very wonderful industry. So if you are there, or maybe you have started already, but you are struggling, or you are looking at transitioning to tech, this is a good opportunity for you. And 2025 hold a very wonderful, wonderful, wonderful year, especially in tech industry. There's going to be a new title coming in. Before, like 2 to 3 years ago, we don't know anything about prompt engineering. There's nothing about much about AI, nothing about there's no news or no noise about cyber security. So new things are going to come on board. New things are going to come into limelight and every other stuff like that. So this is a good opportunity for you to move right into tech and to start earning dollar. So if you are in Nigeria and you are earning dollar, you will know the kind of life the tech people live in Nigeria. So I will go straight right in. I will start. This just little about me. I started over 10 years ago. Start as a software engineer, as a junior software engineer. Then migrate to senior software engineer. So I've worked in different industry. Right in Nigeria before I moved to Canada. Right in Nigeria, I've worked with different industry in UAE, United States, and every other stuff like that. So this is just nature about me, but I won't go into details because of the time given to me. So yeah, so like I said before, 2025 is a good opportunity for us to move to IT into tech. So there's different section in IT. There is software development. There's other things like backend development. When we break down software development, we have backend development, we have front end, we have the graphic design, we have UI UX, and every other stuff like that. So, and wonderful thing about this thing that you can sit in your room and do work with people from United States, from Canada, from every part, any part of the world. So yeah, so how we get right in. So how do you get started in tech in 2025? So there's different way of getting started, but there's a step and there's a process to follow. So if you don't follow some of these steps, that's why people struggling and every other stuff like. So the first thing is to identify your niche and your skill. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, the question first you need to ask yourself, what skill do I have that I can offer to people in the world? Is it that I know how to build software? Is it that I know how to design? Is it that I'm good in content? Or is it that you are good in content management, or you're good in digital marketing? You need to first identify that. And if you don't have any skill, and I think it's the right time for you to start learning. And that's why we have this community. They are going to guide you through, they are going to teach you, and they are going to put you in the right direction. So the first thing is to identify your niche and to identify your skill. So which one do you want to go for? Do you want to go for back-end development? Do you want to go for front-end development and every other stuff like that? So there's a lot of skill that you can research on. And you can. So the second one is, once you identify this, then you have to upgrade. Like every other people in the community in software engineer, we know that software engineer is a continuous learning. You have to keep learning, because by the time you wake up tomorrow, another skill, another framework is out, another stuff is out. They are talking about this, they are talking about that. So you have to keep constantly learning, and if possible, if the niche or the area you choose require you getting certified, then I think it's very important when you are coming into freelancing, because they are going to ask you, or when you are proposing your tech, or you are selling yourself, you are going to take, okay, I'm certified in this, I'm certified in this and in that. So that is the second part. The third is to build your portfolio. So these are the steps you need to follow. You need to build your portfolio. If you are in UI UX, then you need to build a landing page where you can talk about what you've done, and every other stuff. And one thing about freelancing is that it's not necessary you work in one big tech company or one startup. You can just gather your side project, the project you saw on YouTube. You can gather them together and use it to build portfolio, and you can point them to that. Maybe you build a landing page, or maybe you build a script and every other stuff like that. You can build it, you can couple everything into your art portfolio, and you can present it to them. So the fourth is branding and online presence. So one thing about this generation is that you can't just stay, not like when I first when we first started as a software engineer, that you just stay at your cubicle and you work and every other stuff. But now you have to sell yourself. You have to come out. You have to make sure you are on Facebook, you are on YouTube and every other stuff like that. I can't even count how many jobs I've gotten from YouTube alone. Just sending me message that, oh, I saw your video on YouTube. Can you help us do this? Can you help us do that? And every other stuff like that. So it is very important. Immediately you know what you want to do. Immediately you identify your niche. You start your training immediately. Maybe you are building software, your backend design. Come on YouTube, come online, everything you learn, start sharing it. Okay, you can start doing challenge like 21-day challenge, 20-day challenge about, okay, backend development. Start talking about this. Is very important. No matter how many the knowledge you have and every other stuff, if you don't put yourself outside there, nobody is going to know you and nobody is going to reach out to you. So that is that. Then networking within the community you have, going for, that's why we have this community also, going for industry events, online events, and every other stuff like that. And most importantly, when you are planning to start, or you've already started your freelancing journey, you need to open a payment platform where you can use to, that is very important, because if you are consulting, you are collecting money and every other, there is no proper way of getting that money, then is none. So what we're going to do, there is Wise, though Wise is trying to restrict Nigerians from every other stuff like that. So Wise is if you are going to open Wise, you have to be very, very, very careful. But we have the indigenous, the company in Nigeria like GPay, Gray, and you can use a domiciliary account. So when I start receiving money in my DOM account. So there's different banks, some bank charges, but my bank didn't charge any money, withdraw money to my bank and every other stuff like that. So you can make use of that. And so that's that because of my time. So when you are talking about getting started, those are the points that you have to note, and those are the points you have to work on. Then number 2, section 2, which is skills that are required to be successful in this freelancing journey. The skills that are very important, which is technical skill, especially if you are coming into tech. You have to be grounded technically. You have to divine your programming skill. Is it Python you want to go for? Is it JavaScript? Is it front end? Is it back end and every other? When I was starting, I put my hand in the different thing. I put my hand in front end, back end, and every other stuff like that. But as time goes on, I feel like, oh, I'm better in back end, and I stick to back end, and I was able to work and build a whole lot of software. So I work with front end guy to develop different applications. So you have to learn about, you have to determine the language. If you don't know anything about that, you can consult, and they will guide you and teach you what you need to do. Then the second part, database, the UI UX, there's a whole lot of stuff when it comes to tech. There's a whole lot. If it is AI, you want to know how to develop AI, then you have to also know a little bit of JavaScript or Python, because it's a foundation, to build AI application. Then you want to call it good cybersecurity and every other stuff like that. These are important parts, very important technical skill. Then you have a soft skill, always very, very important. So even sometimes you might not really 100% is technical skill, but because you have soft skill, it will help you a lot, because in relationship, communication, and every other stuff like that is very important when it comes to freelancing. One is communication. You have to be clear, and your communication have to be clear, because I can't just, sometimes when you are dealing with people, especially you are dealing with not people from US, Canada, probably you are dealing with people from Pakistan. For people with the same tone, you have to make sure that everything you are seeing is, put it in a writing, because sometimes they will come back to you and say, oh, you said this, and that can easily create a whole lot of issues. So communication is very important. Now, time management, that's also very important, because now you are working alone. You are a boss of yourself. And if you don't know how to manage your time, you might run into a serious issue when you don't know how to manage it. So it's very, very, especially when you don't have, probably you have not worked in a company or in a startup or in a group before, or you are just coming on board and you are starting with freelancing. You have to learn how to manage them, problem solving skill, client relation management, and every other stuff like that is very, very important. So I will go to section 3. So these are the platforms that you need to use to find, clients. So there's a very many platforms. Even you can get clients right from TikTok, right from Facebook, right from Twitter. I've heard people getting clients from TikTok sliding into their DM. I've seen people getting clients from Facebook and every other stuff like that. Everything is all depend on marketing. But when it comes to platforms that offer you the opportunity, then you can talk about Upwork, Freelancing. We have TopTal, we have Paper Hour, we have Freelancing, we have LinkedIn, and we have social media and every other stuff like that. But we just talk on the two, which is Upwork and Fiverr. I started freelancing with Fiverr, right from far back, and I started with when all this crypto was starting, crypto coins and every other stuff like that. That's what I was doing. Though I was a software engineer, a JavaScript developer, so you need a technical skill or programming to develop those Bitcoins and every other stuff. So I started that before I go back to 9 to 5 and every other stuff. So after like 5 years ago, I moved back to Upwork also, and I've been working on Upwork since then, and it's a very interesting. So this platform are wonderful. Some people might come to you and say, oh, I've been on Upwork for years and it's not giving me anything and every other stuff like that. It's just the way they manage it. Fiverr also, people are really making a lot of money there. But there's a subsection to this which I'm going to talk about. What are the strategy to use, how you can get a client using this platform. Number one, when you come on this platform, you must know that you must optimize your profile. So one important thing you must do is that first you must do a little bit research. And before you do research, you already know where you are going to. You already know the skill you want to offer, and every other stuff I've already discussed. So you have to first research what are other people that have been in that industry or doing the same thing. Who are they? What is their profile and every other stuff? Like Upwork, you can easily search for software engineer, and it will bring out all the people doing software engineer, how they build their profile, how much they make, and every other stuff like that. If time permits, I will share my screen and show you how to do that. So you can share and see how they how to build their profile and use that to build your own profile and every other stuff like that. So it's very important. You have to optimize your profile. Keep optimizing your profile. Secondly, you have to networking. Is very, very important. I have two groups. I have one group which is Nigerian guys that talk about Upwork and every other stuff like that. Then I have another group, another networking group that it is paid for. I think I pay around $50 per month just to know what is going on and every other stuff like that. So these guys talk about optimizing, profile optimization, what are the new things that is going on and every other stuff like that. And people post their testimonies, what they've done and every other stuff like that. So the third part is the proposal. So when you are submitting your proposal to clients, is very, very different from your conventional way of applying for a job. You want to apply for a job, you are saying, I am this, I hereby apply for this. No, it doesn't work that way in freelancing, especially when it comes to Upwork and Fiverr. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes just a single line can just win you the job. Hi, how are you? How's weather? This and that. I can help you do this. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. These 2 or 3 lines can just win you instead of you just reading, because client now doesn't have time again. They have like 50 proposal they need to review within 1 hour, and you are writing a whole lot of things, they are not going to look into it. They just need a bullet point of what you've done, how you are going to help them achieve that goal, and every other stuff like that. So that is that. Then feasibility, which I've already discussed, is very, very important. You have to keep pushing content out, no matter, just even if it is rubbish, just go ahead, say it. By the time you do it 2-3 times, you will get what you need to, you will get it right, and people will start following you because of that content. People that do the same thing in the same industry also will start following you. And so feedback is very important. When you get your job done, make sure that you end the contract and you tell the client to give a feedback. Is very, very important. I look at so many profiles today, and I look at the reason why they are not really working again. I discovered that they've done the job. Yes, they are good, but did they ask the client to end the contract? Because when you end the contract, then that's when the Upwork or Fiverr will know that, okay, you've done this work and you've completed it successfully. Then they will be able to push more clients to you. If you get the job done and you don't end the contract when the job is completed, even if the client said that, oh, it's a continuous, and after 2 or 3 weeks, there's no job, it's better to end it. And you can. So let me go to the last point, which is overcoming a common freelancing challenge. There's a lot of challenges, in freelancing industry. Number one is unstable income. Just know that sometimes you will earn, like in a month, you can earn 10,000, you can earn $20,000, and in the next 3 months, you are praying to God to open your door for you. That is just that. That is freelancing for you, because you are a boss of your own. You are a company of your own. It's not like I work for this company. I code for them. I deliver. I don't deliver. At the end of the month, my works will come in. No, I mean my salary will come in. No, this time you are working for yourself. You can earn 20, 50,000 within a month, within 2 months, within 3 months, and the next few months you are not, getting. Not that you are not going to get it, but it will eventually come. But it might take a little bit of time. So it's very important. Like I said before, time management, and thirdly, isolation is a little bit freelancing, a little bit isolated. But thank God nowadays we have community that you can easily join co-working space, like co-working space in Magboro. You can easily go in there, carry your laptop, go in there. You'll be able to feel like you are working in an environment, not like you are in your room. Sometimes when you are in your room, there's a whole lot of distraction and every other stuff like that. So it's very important. And very important also, you have to be very clear about burnout. Working without giving yourself time, without resting, it can result to burnout. Then the next one is skill development. You have to make sure you keep developing your skill. You keep developing. So let me just tell you this. So when I joined Upwork as a software engineer, but when I joined Upwork, I discovered that there's another niche also, that, oh, this thing is actually trending and this thing is actually making money. Then I to my profile to fit into that tech. And within a couple of weeks, I got the first job. And the first job is just $10. If you imagine. That job is very huge job. I need to add a sleepless night on it. But because it was my first job on Upwork, I decided to give it all I have. It's just $10. But after that time, I convert that client into $1,000 client that pay me $1,000 every month. That's how it works. So whatever job you are getting as a freelancer, you have to make sure you deliver beyond the expectation, because once you deliver, more job will come from that route. I can't count how many jobs we started, like $100, $200, and before you know this, the client start paying big amount of money to just have other job to deliver. So that is that. So the next is client acquisition. You have to build online presence. Then pricing also. You have to be about pricing. It can be a little bit tricky. So some job that people deliver at $50 per hour, $100 per hour, you might be feel like, oh, you want to do it $20 per hour, $10 per hour. Sometimes it will affect, because there's some clients that know that the cheaper you are, the quality of things they're going to get from you. So I see people changing their hourly rate from 20, tomorrow they change it to 30, tomorrow they change it for 40 or something like that. Sometimes it's better to just keep on that particular amount you have a little bit higher. You might be afraid that, oh, this and that, but they will definitely come. That's what I guarantee you. They will ever, because there's some clients that value quality, and they know that they can't get quality until they pay the higher amount of money. So I was discussing with my clients 2 or 3 days ago. He was saying that he paid some people from Pakistan. They collect this. They can pay. I pay to $2,000, this and that. They are giving me excuse and every other stuff like that. And I told him, see, my hourly rate is $50-something. If you can't pay that, I can't go lesser than that. And I discovered that because he's looking for a cheap service and he was not able to get the value of what he needs. So it's very important. We have to research all the people in the industry, looking at their profile, how much they are charging, and why are they winning, that stuff. So sometimes I just take my time off, scan all the profile on Upwork and look at what people are doing, what are the changes and every other stuff like that, and fine tune my profile to fit into that, so I can attract more clients. So thank you so much. So I hope I'm able to. All right.
Thank you. I
So
know
if you
you are
have any
trying to
question,
rush because of the time. Thank you so
yes,
much.
yeah.
We're still going to get to the question and answer aspect. So please, if you have questions, you can start dropping them in the chat. We still get to the part where we can actually ask our speakers the questions. So, and if we have more time, we still give them more time to actually talk to us. Right. So let me just share my screen again. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. All right, so our first speaker just finished talking about freelancing in tech. So we'll be moving on to our next speaker. We'll be talking on remote working in tech. So over to you, Mr. Olumide. So Mr. Olumide is also a senior software engineer. He works with Modus Create USA. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, Bome, for that. And thank you very much, Samuel, for that wonderful session. I think you've actually, nailed it, and you've covered most of the discussion we'll be having here today. If we decide to close at this point, I think we've learned. But I will be talking about remote working in tech, and I have 4 subsections which I'll be discussing. And the first one is going to be how remote work is changing the tech landscape. The second is going to be the benefits and challenges of remote work in tech roles. I'm going to talk about how to stay productive and manage our work-life balance remotely, and how to find remote tech job opportunities, which he already did justice to. But I'm going to be extending it a bit. And I'm going to be coming in the angle of a consultant. He has been talking about a freelancer. I'll be talking from the angle of a consultant. So how remote work is changing the tech landscape, not just the tech landscape, remote work has been changing the entire work, right? It has turned the world to a global village, right? Meaning I don't have to leave my country before I can start working for uh, a company not, resident in my country. So, you know how this all started, pre-COVID, we used to go into the office, working 9 to 5 jobs, you commute to work and you spend a lot of hours in traffic. Though I, as a person, I didn't subscribe to that life. And fortunately for me, even before COVID, I got an hybrid job when I had to go to work just 2 or 3 times a week. And I happen to be working in a co-working space. And I enjoy the freedom, even though I quit a better paying job for that freedom. I discovered that over time, I started earning more. Within a space of 3 months, I was able to, meet my income level coming from, the previous job, and I started earning more. And over a period of 6 months, it tripled, and since there, it's been history. So let's look at it. And one of those things is you have the freedom to work from anywhere. I always jokingly tell people like, okay, just give me a laptop and internet, then I'm good to go, right? I can start from scratch and work from anywhere and talk to people and start doing what I need to do. And the way it gives us freedom. Lagos is a very hectic place for those of us staying in Lagos, and Nigeria is a very stressful place generally, right? I believe somebody is in Canada, probably he should be able to tell us the difference between the country and here. But really, no one wants to spend. Let's think about it, right? Then I was working in Lagos, and you go to the island, you spend about 3 hours commuting, or that's even if you're lucky, 1 hour, 1.5 hours to go and come back. Most of us spend more than that. I was spending about 4 or 5 hours, and I have 8 hours of work. Now, how did that help, right? You're spending, some are even spending the same time they're spending at work in traffic, right? Which does not add up. So remote work has actually changed days. For you, you can actually, and what benefits does that bring? So because we are freeing up our time, and over time we've discovered that even money is not our greatest asset, our time is actually our greatest asset. And by the time we free up our time, we can have time for other things. So we can see things started changing. Even people abroad, now post-COVID, now when COVID came, it became a problem, right? And even people abroad could not, they discovered that no one is coming to the office. And that's how it all started. If my company is in the US and the job an American is doing for me, and I have to pay the guy like $50 per hour, I can come down to Africa and perhaps South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever, and pay the guy there $10 per hour. And the guy's going to be excited and he's going to do like, 2 times or 3 times more what the other guy is doing that's getting paid, $50. And that's how it all started. And people started getting remote jobs. And we started looking for how are they getting it, right? And as Nigerians, so you can see that benefit, right? And I can tell people I know more about the healthcare of the United States more than I know more that of Nigeria, because I worked a lot in for US clients, and I spend more with their healthcare data based on some products I've used in the past. Even presently, I'm still consulting for an healthcare, one of the biggest healthcare firm in the world. So you can see how it's changing things. Things change for you, and it changes the way we think about work, right? That four wall no longer works. So keep that in mind. Now, I already mentioned some of the benefits. At least some of it's about the money. I know some of us here is about the foreign currency you actually found there that attracted you to this. But that's the truth, right? A lot of Nigerians are actually earning in foreign currencies. And like my partner mentioned, the way you can actually get the benefit you get from it. You can make money, you can charge high, and that's after you have your skill sets, definitely, and some other soft skills, right? Communication. And I tell people the first thing you do is to get the skills, right? But after getting the skills and you know what you're doing, then another skills come to the top. That's communication. Because if you can't communicate what you sell or what you have, the skills you have, you're in trouble, right? You can't even sell to these guys. And they mentioned something very key. The way you deal with people from different parts of the world is very different. Nigerians, they have they have a way to work, right? Which, when we started freelancing, it became a problem for us. We thought the client was the problem. We were working with these US guys and some Indians and all, but we thought they were the problem because they were always complaining about our work. It's not our technical skills, right? But we now later figure out that it's our communication skills that's the problem. We don't know how to communicate. And we just like doing things anyhow. It's not about the job you deliver, but the way you communicate it, right, really matters. So we fixed it. We fixed it. And we discovered that they love us more, right? They engage us more and they were giving us more work to do. So that's very important. That's the benefit. You get to know a lot of people in the industry. You have friends. I have friends in every part of the world. I have friends from India. Even after work, I still have their contact. We still talk. So you can visit any country and you have someone you can always meet with them. They're going to send you invite at times. Okay, just to come. Those are the benefits. But it comes. So aside the monetary value, you get connection, you have strong network of people you can actually rely on within the network. And if you're trying to change your job, these are the people you can keep within your circle. They are the one you go to first. Like, oh, I need a new job. Okay, you recommend me? They love your work. Then they're gonna give you the recommendation. That's why you have to make sure you're giving your best. And they can trust you. Trust is a key part of this. And it comes with its challenges as well. As a consultant, like he mentioned, as a freelancer, you can get job for a couple of months. But as a consultant, most time we get 6 months or a year contract. It's renewable. And it's not for the faint-hearted anyways, but it's very rewarding. Because most times, towards the end of the year, whatever your contract is ending, you get worried, right? Will it be renewed? But at some point, you don't get worried again. One, even if your current gig is not renewed, or someone else is going to come knocking on your door. So far, you have yourself out there, and your skill is actually trusted. So challenges come with it as well. You may have some downtime. You have to take care of things. You have to plan your future yourself, your finances. Nobody is going to do your tax for you, so you have to know how to file your tax returns. Nobody is going to keep your pension for you. So if you are the baller guys, like you get the money, you blow it off. I'm so sorry. So you're gonna get it, and you're gonna you're gonna find yourself in a quick financial trouble. But at the same time, and some other challenges we have, it can be depressing, loneliness, isolation, setting at times. Just because I think that's one of the reasons a company like Softlift actually created the hub so that people can come out and have a place to work. I remember then when I was working in Yaba, even though my clients were abroad, were working from the Yaba hub, I made a lot of friends, even friends people I can call brothers today, I met them there. So it's very important. Distractions, communication hurdles, different things can happen that can hinder you, or which are challenges. And epileptic power supply, those ones are, I tell people if you are going remote, please go and buy. The first investment is solar in Nigeria. I don't care if you're in band, hey, your transformer can blow up. So, and you will be out of power for a very long time. So make sure you have a backup and a very good internet. Those are very important because we don't want, can you hear me? Nigerians do that a lot. Say, hey, I can't hear you. Hey, we don't want that, right? It's pieces of your clients, right? And they get hungry with it. If you're getting paid, then you should invest in your gadgets. Moving on for the sake of time, how to stay productive and manage your work-life balance. Like I said, the first recommendation I give for remote workers is please just look for a co-working space, go and use it. I can't, emphasize that enough because I've tried both. At some point I was indoor for, over a year. And number one, I lost touch, not with tech. I'm on track when it comes to tech. I have a way I keep track of it, but I lost touch with people. I lost touch with the community, the tech community. And I had to go out at some point and I started building. I discovered that I needed some things locally and I could not get. So I know everybody, like, you have your highs on the international market there, but there are some things you need locally which you won't get. Staying productive and managing your work-life balance is critical. You have to know how to time box yourself. When work is done, shut down your laptop and go for a walk or, hang out with friends. Of course, you'll be working from your room. You can work from your PJs, your singlets, or whatever you're putting on at night all day, right? At times, if you decide to go shirtless, you're permitted, right? But you have to deliver, right? And if you're not careful, if you're working for a client that overworks, they try to push you to do more, then you find yourself working like 16 hours a day, which is going to burn you out pretty fast. And trust me, you don't want that because if you burn out, it's going to affect you long term. Finally, how to find remote jobs. He has mentioned the Upwork and some other parts. But I for one, LinkedIn is a big one. Have an optimized profile, engage in people's posts, post if you can, write articles if you can, and you're gonna get a lot of benefit from that. People are gonna reach out to you. Most of the job I got them from LinkedIn. And it's not as if I did not apply for some of them. They're just gonna come to my profile and just say, "Hey, hi, I saw your profile. This, I like it. Can you do this for us?" And we talk and we have the interview, and we work. Gives you the opportunity. If you decide to stay, you find like platforms like Vanak. They hire engineers, and they most of the engineers, it's primarily for relocation. Easily relocate you. We work remotely is another big one, and some other ones which you will probably share later on with you. So that's it on my end. I think I'm going to stop here for the sake of time. So thank you very much, and I hope you've learned one or two things. Over to you, Bumi.
All right. Thank you so much, and thanks to both of you for keeping to time. I don't want to keep people out here for too long. Yeah. So the next thing on our list is just interactive session. So we've said a lot of things, but I have some questions here that I would like to ask. And please, those on the call too, if you have questions, please just drop them in the chat. We'll get to them. So Mr. Samuel, this question is for you. Yeah, so can you share some tips on building a strong portfolio? So you talked about visibility and all that, but we want tips on building a strong portfolio and standing out from the competition in the tech market space.
Okay, so can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So building strong portfolio is very important when it comes to tech, because that's just your image, what people are going to say about you, what people are going to, if you can deliver or not. So one thing about the tips, the first thing is to be specific, especially when you are talking about, okay, I'm a software engineer, I've worked on this, I've worked on that, I have this number of experience, I've joined this team. So important thing that the client is going to ask for. I mean, the client is going to think about, like the communication skill. If you are a software engineer, what are the things you've worked on? What part is your focus? Is it backend, or is it front-end engineer and every other stuff like that? And most importantly, Upwork now and other platforms now have video profile that you can easily upload. So apart from having a content that display your information, what you've done, and other points like that, then you need a video that shows, that talk about what you can deliver. Within 1 minute and every other. I think within 1 minute you can. Some people do 2 minutes and every other stuff, but I think Upwork allow 1 minute. So you can do a 1 minute short clip that just explain yourself, what you've done, what you can deliver, and every other stuff. Sometimes you can just win a job just from the video profile, but from client watching your video, you can deliver. They can give you a job right from there. So other point is you are just intro about you, what you've done, what you can deliver, and other tools you use. Maybe you use ID, you use this, you use that. Those things, you have to put everything there so people can know what you've done. Then probably link to provide. I mean, Upwork don't accept link, and think Private also don't accept link, but there's a way you can put those content there that we know that, okay, you can deliver this thing. But most importantly, because this thing change, also you have to keep researching on other people's profile also, and see why they are winning their job, what they are doing, and every other stuff. So once in a while, you need to just tweak your profile around and make so your profile must not be static. You must continually changing it, like probably every month, depend on how you gain visibility. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Okay, so Mr. Olumide, you talked about some of the challenges you faced when you were transitioning to remote work. So what are the biggest challenges that you think people face when transitioning to remote work, and how can they overcome them?
Oh, okay. So I think the first thing I'm going to say is your skill set is primary, right? That's what gets you into the door. I'm gonna, recommend to people whatever skills you have, make sure you sharpen it, right? In terms of research, figure out what the international community needs, right? For instance, I was a web developer, and you're gonna find yourself doing web for them. You see that the way they do their things is quite different, and we have to start figuring things out. I know shortcuts. Nigerians, most of the app we build here, nobody actually review your code per se. Then, especially when you're the only one on the team, or just to, okay, let's just get it done. They test it, it works, it goes. So make sure you have your skill set is sharp, right? That's one thing. Because at some point you have to go back to start learning some other things. Maybe minor things as basic as unit testing, as basic as design patterns for engineers. Right. Even for designers, they have their challenges too. Please let's take note of that. I don't care if you're a virtual assistant or you're a prompt engineer or a software tester, whatever you do, research in the wider community and learn from them. And secondly is the communication skill. People underestimate that a lot, right? And if you because they could not communicate well, they suffered when trying to get, or even after getting, deal with a remote job. You must learn how to communicate what you do effectively. So that is very, very, very important. You must know how to, you have the skill sets. You must learn how to sell yourself. Let's leave it that way. Learn how to sell yourself. Your communication. So two things. Your skill sets, make sure it's well sharpened. Stay on top of your game. Subscribe to newsletter. Know what's going on in your industry. Know it in and out. And secondly, your communication skill. If you don't know how to communicate, take a course, pick up a course somewhere and learn how to communicate and practice over time. You will become better. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Samuel, so this question is for you. So you mentioned we managing our time because we'll be working with several clients, right? So and as a freelancer, you are working with clients from different time zones. So how do you manage your time effectively working on multiple freelance projects, especially when you are working with clients across different time zones? Sorry, you're on mute if you are talking.
Okay. Okay. So if depend on the kind of work you are doing. So on Upwork, we have what we call a fixed rates and hourly rates. So a fixed rate means that the clients or the project is just a fixed rate for a specific amount of money. But hourly rate is that okay, we are going to give you 40 hours per week for the next couple of months, and you have to deliver these projects. So one thing I normally do, because of the time different and different time zone, I make sure that I communicate with the client with what they need or what they need to be delivered before the client go to bed, or if the client is ahead, I make sure that I drop the list of things I need to deliver for that particular day. And after the end of my day, I update the client what I've done, how many hours I've spent. Because sometimes when you are working as a freelance, a client might be emphasizing that, okay, you are going to spend 5 hours to deliver this project. You are going to spend 10 hours to deliver this project. And while doing the project, you discover that you've actually spent 15 hours to deliver that project. So it is always good to communicate that, okay, I'm going to get this list of tasks done for this particular day, and it's going to take me this number of hours. So at the end of the week, when the client is reviewing your timesheets, looking at that particular task within that particular hour, is not going to be surprised that, oh, you spend this amount of time because some clients will think maybe you are wasting time. So you have to be very careful, because if at the end of the project maybe you will finally deliver, but you spend more than the allocated time or what the time the client envisaged, then it might result to negative feedback to you. So it might, and once you receive a negative feedback, then it's going to affect how people approach you. It's going to affect you. They have what they call GSS score in Upwork. I think on Fiverr also they have what they use to rank the rate and feedback and every other stuff like that. So you have to be very careful. So make sure that you communicate. You give them the list of things you've done for that particular day. Even if you are not going to work in their time zone, make sure that you list all the things you are going to do within your time zone, and also make sure that you know the time to catch them online. Sometimes I wake up as early as 4 a.m. to make sure that I catch some. I make sure that I talk to some clients, especially some of my clients in Israel. Some of them always active around 4 a.m. my time, 5 a.m. So I make sure that I'm awake at that time, and I send a message and drop all the things I need to get them. And since I moved to Canada, it's a little bit different, because some clients now are now 1 hour, 2 hour ahead of me, compared to Nigeria that sometimes they are 7 hours ahead, they are 5 hours ahead. So most importantly, you have to communicate. You don't have to go like a day without giving them a list of things you've done. So you don't have to wait for client to chat you first to ask you what have you done before. So it's very important, communication. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm still talking about communication because it's actually important. After getting all the tech skills and you can't communicate, then what's the use? People don't know what you're doing. People don't know where you are. Your team members are looking for you. It doesn't really work that way, right? So, Mr. Olumide, so you mentioned something about the other time about still keeping up with the trends in technology, even though you're working remotely. So how do you stay updated with the latest trends and technology when you're working remotely and outside of the office environment? How do you do it?
Oh, thank you for that question. I think I'm going to talk about the ways that's worked for me. Newsletter is a big part. This changes real time. So every day, I have couple of newsletters I've actually subscribed to from different websites. Just look for tech website and in different categories. So I have some targeted towards front end, back end, some DevOps, even some parts that's it's not my core. Like AI and blockchain. Even though I've done some work with them, but it's not my core. So I tend to know what is going on the latest tech that is being housed there. So I receive them firsthand. And news is also another big part. See what is going on, see what people are building, like TechCrunch, Cabal, guys that are raising money, know what's, know why they are raising money, see the product they are building. Some are even ahead of the game. Those are the ways to actually stay ahead of the game. And also the community. Please don't, underestimate the power of a community. We talk about these things. We talk about we have techie discussions when you meet your fellow tech people. You talk about the tech you're using, the technologies you're using, the new ones, even things you've not tried your hands on. If someone should mention what you haven't tried your hands on, tell them to go further, explain. Ask someone sitting next to you, especially those working in co-working space, or you meet someone, ask them about what they build, the technologies behind it. I think that's the way that's been working for me to stay ahead. But read up on Medium. Make sure you don't just subscribe to random things. Be intentional about those people you follow. And social media is there for you as well. Anywhere, your choice. I don't care the platform you choose, but it's the content you follow that actually matters. Whether Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. Follow the guys that are they're on top of tech, like Elon Musk. They talk about tech like if you're following Mark, Definitely everything that is happening in the React world and the latest Llama series that they release, you're going to see it pretty fast, right? Those top guys that say beyond them, engineering articles from places like Netflix, Twitter, their articles, follow it, monitor the architecture and all, depending on what you're doing. So yours might not be engineering. I'm talking from this perspective on an engineer now. So whatever field you find yourself within the tech space, just make sure you keep tab of it. I think that's how it has worked for me so far.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And also, Mr. Samuel Oyewole, you can also follow him. He actually drops a lot of content online. He's a digital creator, like I said. So you can also follow him. So you just keep you are aware of what is currently happening, the trends and all that. It really helps. So back to you, Mr. Samuel. So this has some of our concluded questions. What do you think is the future of tech freelancing? And how do you see it evolving in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you think it's something that people should still go to, or they should stay away from it?
Okay, thank you. So, freelancing is not people is going to keep revolving, and also there's a whole lot of people coming on board because right now, most companies prefer to hire a freelancer, especially if you look at what is trending now, especially even on Upwork where other people are making money. The people building Upwork or the people working in Upwork as a company, even they are trying to lay some of them off early January. So some of them are even going off. So not to talk about, so most people are there's going to be a whole lot of people coming in. Let me simply put it that there's going to be high demand in freelancing because one, company don't need to manage, the space to hire or hire HR to manage talent and every other stuff like that. All they need to do is you just come on the platform, look for somebody they can deliver and deliver that particular project for them. So if they are able to save costs, they are able to do a lot of things. So there is going to be more of it, even in software development, in AI development, and every other stuff like that. So there's going to be more demand in freelancing, and I think this is the high time that we move to that particular sector. So remote work is going to be norm, and digital platform tools is going to keep revolving. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Final question for you, Mr. Olumide. So for people that are just starting out in tech, what resources do you recommend to help them succeed?
Lots of resources out there for them. And like I always say, you need to know what you want to learn first. Pick a skill. I always tell people pick a skill. I think soft tips is there to help you determine the a way to go when it comes to that. Pick a skill, stick to it. Roadmap.sh is one of the the websites I always recommend for you. Go to roadmap.sh, pick a skill, look at the roadmap and start learning. And they are so fantastic in such a way that when you click on them, they can give you references to resources, fantastic resources. And you can, take that skill further by going to YouTube. YouTube is a good one to learn. Though, you can learn a lot from YouTube, but you can find yourself in this video hell and learning hell when you're not careful. So Freecode Camp is a fantastic one. I follow their tutorials squarely. Freecode Camp YouTube are rich. They're lengthy, but they're rich. They have everything you need to in any field to learn. Aside that, there are other resources out there, Coursera, if you Udemy, if you have money to spend, just Udemy is quite cheap. You can ask someone, this is a Christmas period, you can ask someone to give to you a course on Coursera or Udemy. But there are ways to get free resources at the same time that you can learn through all these. So those are the ones I'm going to recommend. There are more out there. You can just go out there, look up. The most important thing is know exactly what you need to learn, and roadmap.sh is going to guide you through that.
All right. Thanks for that. So thanks for that. Thanks for that. So let me just check if we have any questions from. Okay. The only question we have here is, what do you suggest I get started with as a newbie in tech?
So if I'm going to ask another question, I believe Sam also we have a recommendation as well. But what I always say is it's not like a one size fits all when we want to give recommendations for that. Number one, I always recommend consultation. People are in different places in life. And tech is you have to keep learning, right, all the time. I still learn. I have over a decade years of experience, and I still spend time learning all the time. I'm still picking up new skills. But when you're just getting started, I'll find someone that can point you to the right place. It might be, okay, front end, I want to focus on front end. What do I need to learn? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you focus on it and you learn React, right? Or you just feel, okay, I want to learn AI. What do I need to learn? And at times, we see a lot of people are excited about cybersecurity now, right? And they want to learn it within, they have no tech background. They want to learn it within 2 to 3 months. It's not possible, right? This thing takes time, and the reward is going to follow out afterwards. So please pick a skill set, have it in mind, and just follow it up. But I'm going to advise you to get consultation first. Get consultation, then they're going to help you identify where you are in life. It has a lot to do, right? Where you are in life. And get a laptop. Laptop is very important. I've seen people that want to do tech on their mobile. It's not going to work. That's it's not going to work. If you don't have the money to get one, reach out to people for crowdfund. I don't know how you want to do it. A laptop is a big deal. Please get one. Then you can start your journey from there. Then pick a skill and let someone guide you through the process.
Right. Thank you. So Samuel, this question is for you. What's your view on freelancers operating foreign accounts? I have had people say operating a foreign account comes with a lot of opportunities. What do you suggest one does while waiting to get a job as a freelancer?
Okay, thank you. So if you're in Nigeria, operating a foreign account is a little bit tricky, especially if you are using this new generation bank. While I was in Nigeria, the only international bank account I use is TransferWise that allow you to open your account with your BVN or your passport. But it gets to a stage that they have to send me a mail that that was October, that they are going to close down my account in October, and they asked me to move in all my money. But thank God that at that particular time, that's when I was transition. I was moving to Canada. So immediately I got to Canada, I just moved the money there to my Canadian bank. So it can be tricky because when they discover that you are operating from Nigeria and you are receiving money and every other stuff like that, you might not be lucky. They might just ban your account and just hold on your money. But sometimes they are now easier. Not like before that they just ban your account and just lock you outside. But now they will tell you to move your money. But I won't advise you because in Nigeria we have application now that you can open like GPay grade that will allow you to receive your money. And once you receive your money, you can easily convert it to Naira and use it. And another thing is that you can open domiciliary accounts. Right now, Nigeria is not there. There's no issue with tax in Nigeria. So you can still make your money and make use of it. But it will get to a stage that they're going to tax it, because I remember my bank manager reached out to me and asking me where my money is coming from. And I need to, because these people have to go online and be searching for my name. So they discover my GitHub, but they didn't discover my Upwork. So they need to ask me where the money is coming from, and I'll give them the Upwork and other sources also. So it will get to a state that they will be taxing this money. But right now, I think it will be safer for you to just open Nigerian new generation account, or you open domiciliary account and withdraw your money in. That's my advice. Thank you.
All right. So the second part was, what do you suggest one does while waiting to get a job as a freelancer?
Okay, so what I will advise you, since you've decided what to do, if it is software engineering, front end, back end, whatsoever you decide to do, what you need to do is to keep working, not keep practicing, I mean. So you can build a landing page, so because it is very important to have all these things in your portfolio. So when you get to a stage for you to get a job, they will ask you, what have you done? And you need to present something to them. So all the YouTube video you've watched, the Udemy courses, and every other stuff have to come to play at that particular time. So in Udemy, maybe you follow a particular course, you build a project, and after that, you can include that project in your proposal, that you develop it, and you will show them the link to that project. So it's easier and much faster, because when you are presenting your portfolio and you have a real life evidence, something you build yourself, then you can tag, you can put your picture, you can put something to identify that you are the one that built this, then it is easier for you to win the contract or to win the job faster, compared to somebody that doesn't even have anything, just have just code HTML, CSS, body type and everything without anything to show. But when you have something to show, maybe you work for like 2-3 months and every other stuff like that, and you present it, yes, that is a good way to do that while you are waiting. Another thing I will advise is that if you are moving into tech, I will advise you to be very careful of all these boot camps. Yeah, boot camps. It is very, very. Sometimes they will overpromise you that after 3 days you are going to start doing this, especially in cyber security and every other stuff like that. I have to be honest with you. You can't achieve anything after 3 days. These people are just cajoling you to collect your money. So please be careful with boot camp of 3 days, 1 week, that will collect $5,000 or $200 from you and promise you heaven and earth. Please be careful. This thing take time. Even we that we have been there, we know that this thing actually takes time. It's not something you just wake up and say you want to start doing. Understand? And it's not something you can go to, oh, I have AI can generate HTML, CSS. Now lie, it can generate HTML, but it's when you get to a particular issue, you will get stuck for 3 days, even 1 week, that you won't be able to solve it. So I have experience with a client like that. So I have to be honest with you. Please be careful of boot camps. Just go to the right source. If you have to pay for consultation, pay for consultation. That doesn't mean. And most importantly, where you are coming from is very important. If you are coming from teaching background, maybe you are a teacher and you want to move into tech, you need to seek for, you need to get consultation. It's not that you just want to go for HTML, CSS and every other stuff like that. Coming from teaching background, project management might be the right source for you instead of you coding. So it's very, very, very important. And that's why we have this company that it can help you and help you move faster. So those mistakes we've made during our own the old days when we are starting, they can easily help you and you'll be able to move faster. Within a couple of months, you'll be able to achieve whatever you need to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And just a point to that, for those that are thinking of, oh, I need consultation, where do I get started? If you go to our website, there's a consultation link there. So we offer free consultation. So we actually talk to you. We talk to you, know what you need to do, where you need to get started. We don't just put you in any class because you said you want to do cybersecurity, so you have to do cybersecurity. No, we actually do consultation, ensure that people actually get what they need at that point in time, and they can actually grow into any role that they want to grow into. So the last question I'll be taking here, sorry, time has gone. Mr. Olumide. So sorry, Mr. Samuel, they are asking for your social profile link. So please, if you can drop it on the chat. And
Okay.
Mr. Lumide, someone here, I think it's because of the fact that you said we should keep learning and the tools that you talked about. So I have been learning since, but I still feel inadequate. What is the best way to gain confidence?
Okay. That's an interesting question. I think at one point in our lives, we all felt of that imposter syndrome and like, can I really do this? Um, and what I'm going to recommend is confidence come from doing, right? Whatever you're doing, you will get to a point that your confidence is going to increase. And I know why most people feel inadequate. We've been telling you to build a portfolio, build a portfolio. There's no way you can, for instance, engineering. There's no way you can be an engineer and you don't have a portfolio, right? You don't build. People don't build hand to hand, right? Pick a project, build it from the beginning to the end. Understand the process. If you build it from the beginning to the end and you can explain what you've built, that is what is important, right? And don't overwork yourself. Don't pick something crazy or complex. Just pick something small and build it and ensure you can defend it hand to hand. I remember when I was getting started, at some point I said, I want to build the next Facebook. And I started coding. I don't even know how to write proper SQL then. I ended up, just going for it. Then I had to take a step backward. Then I could not finish that project because it was too much, right? Then I built a simple blog, right? I coded it, perform all the CRUD operations, design the front end, and that was like my first project. I could show everyone. I was very proud of it. So that's the first thing I'm gonna recommend. Um, then you can go online as well, solve challenges. There are challenges online which you can solve to test your abilities. There are places you can test your ability if you really know, right? So places you can write lead code. No, nobody is ready. You can start from the basic algorithms, binary search, or solve simple additions. Probably I will share some of the resources with you. I hope you're going to join the group and I can share some of the resources I have where you can go and test your ability yourself, see how far you can go. And join internship programs too. They're very important. Join internship programs. Are they going to test you? We're going to fail. We don't win all. Even halls as seniors, we don't win all, right? We fail some, we win some. But at the end of the day, it's practice and knowing our weaknesses and our strengths that keeps us going.
Yes, thank you. So we've come to the end of the discussions for our speakers. Please, I'll be giving both of you one minute each to just give us final tips from both of you. Our time is fast spent. So let me start with Mr. Samuel, then I'll go to Mr. Olumide.
Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity. So my final tip is that this, when you are starting as a tech, is a journey. So sometimes you might wake up in the night, especially when you are doing front end, back end, and you feel like crying. If you feel like crying, cry, understand, but don't stop. That's the important thing. Because when I was starting, I can't remember how many times I just wake up in the night. I would feel, so, but I keep doing it and I keep doing it. I get to a stage that I gain my confidence and I was able to do beyond. So before I was thinking that, I'm going to cram everything, I'm going to cram all the variables, but it gets to a stage that this thing just come by itself. Why coding? All those things that you need to know will start coming in. So when you are starting and things are need to be difficult, don't stop it, because at that particular time, that's when you are making progress. Keep moving. And when you join a freelancer platform, it might be a little bit tricky, but it requires attention. So make sure you go to the platform, do one or two things, apply for a job, at least in a day, apply for one or two jobs. Make sure you do that constantly. And before you know, everything will change. All right, that's my tip. Thank you.
Yeah, and from his quotes, it's a journey, but keep at the back of your mind that there is no destination, right? It's a continuous journey. You're gonna keep learning. you're not going to get to that point and say, oh, I've done it all. No, it's not going to happen, right? You're probably going to grow old or grow tired and just drop off the ball and do something else. Yeah, so, but one thing I want to put out there is please read. I think that's one of the challenges I've been seeing of recent, people that are trying to get into tech. There's no shortcuts. Let's be clear with ourselves. There's no shortcuts. What you give is what you will get, right? If you commit 5 hours per week, your output will be 5 hours per week. Compared to someone that will be committing like 40 hours per week, right? Is what you give in, you will get out. But one thing I can guarantee is at the end of the day, if you pay the price, you will reap the reward. And the reward most time is, bountiful. You will reap that reward. So keep going. I encourage you to keep pushing. Whatever you're doing, keep pushing. And I know the sky is just your beginning.
All right, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you guys. It has been really informative. I really learned a lot, and I'm sure that those that were also online also learned a lot. We really appreciate both of you. So the next thing I would like to just do here is I started by talking about soft lift technology, what we do. We do trainings, consultations, and we also have a tech hub. So we also have a community. We have a WhatsApp community, right? A tech community where we share resources. So we have different groups, smaller groups within it. So we divided it into subgroups, front end, back end, QA, different groups, right? We also have a part where we actually share links to jobs, right? So please, if you are not part of that community, I'm going to share the link to our WhatsApp community in the channel, in the chat. So please join. And also, we'll be having more webinars like this, like in 2025, right? We want more people in tech. We want more Nigerians to know what is happening out there. We want more people and more people in the tech community. And we want to have a community where you can go to, oh, I'm having these issues. How do I resolve it? We want people to know that, oh, there are other people out there like them also trying to grow, right? There are a lot of newbies trying to grow, but they are doing it alone. So that is the reason that we are building this community. Yeah, so please join our WhatsApp group. I'm going to share the link. Just give me a moment. I'm going to share the link, and we are also going to be the recordings for this, we're also going to be sharing it in the community for those that are already part of it. We're going to be sharing it there, and we're going to make it available so that people that want to still revisit this, because for me, I'm still going to revisit this. And right, so that's the link to join Soft Lift community. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you for those that joined. We really appreciate you. And that will be all for tonight. Thank you so much.